Welcome back. Well, yes, we're just going to get perspectives from Benin concerning what is playing out in Edo State. And we did reach out to the government enforcement team who featured in that report, but there's no response, so they are not on the show. But we do have Mr. Kola Etokwayi, who is a rights activist, joining us from our studios in Benin. Good morning, and thank you for joining us on the program today. Well, a lot clearly is going on, but what is the current situation about the vaccine mandate in the state?
Good morning, my brother. Good morning, Lagos. As you are fully aware that Edo State government has made it mandatory for Edo people to get vaccinated. It is coercing workers to that effect. While some people are saying that people like yours sincerely share that sentiment that my body is my right. And as such, the government has no right to force me to take vaccine. When the coronavirus occurred in 2019, when it was very rampant, there was COVID-19 palliative for the people. Government did not make the distribution of the palliative mandatory. Why is the government now making the vaccine mandatory? They store the palliative in medical store road, perishable items, perished. It was then the palliative was not mandatory then. Why is it that the Edo State government is now forcing people to take vaccine? There is a restraining order by a court of competent jurisdiction to that
part. But some comments from the enforcement officer, Mr. Haruna Yusuf, is quoted to have said that the government is not forcing people about this vaccine. How do you reconcile that?
That is, they are trying to escape from the truth. Government is not forcing people to take the vaccine, but on that day, I think that it was very rampant that workers were restricted to access government facility. Is that not a mandatory vaccination? Is that not a situation whereby you are forcing the people to take vaccine? They should tell us the truth. We don't know the secret behind this forced or mandatory vaccination. My body is my right. Let Edo State government respect that the court order. There is a restraining order to that effect from court of competent jurisdiction in Rivers State.
Speaking about that court matter, we thought that it was on the 31st of August, an ex-parte. Does it still subsist?
Yes. We are supposed to maintain a status quo, more so that we have not gotten any counter order to that effect. Maybe Edo State government went to other court to get another order to counter the first order, like what is rampant. When a court in a federal court in Rivers State will give another court in Zamfara State will give a counter order. You understand? But there is nothing like that. We expect parties to maintain status quo ante bellum, not by forcing people to take the vaccine. And because of that, people are absolutely restless. Putting into perspective the negative news we hear about the vaccine. So, they not tell you a politician in Edo State took the vaccine after a few days he died. They will not tell you. They will not tell you that.
Okay, we'll get medical experts to speak on that. But what about what they say that, you got an ex-parte and it subsists for 2 weeks, and thereafter they then proceed with whatever it is that they intend to do?
Yes, you are right. You are right, my brother. There is an ex-parte motion to that effect. But what about those people that are not? They don't know the meaning of ex-parte motion. They are not conscious of what is ex-parte motion. What we are saying is that let the people decide whether to take vaccine or not, whether there is an ex parte motion or not. Someone like me, you cannot force me. Even in your house, when some of your children are not feeling well, you pet them to take medicine. We expected Edo State government to carry out an evangelism to convince the people beyond all reasonable doubt of the positive effect of taking the vaccine, not by coercing the people as if we are living in a colonial era. That is our agitation. That is why some of us are coming out to agitate. It is our fundamental human right. You saw the restriction of the fundamental human right of workers accessing government facility. The right to freedom of movement is guaranteed by the law. The right to freedom of association and peaceful assembly is guaranteed by the law. The Edo State government should not be seen to be obeying court order that favors him and disobey court order that did not favor him. What is so special about this COVID-19 vaccination? Edo State government should force kidnappers to quit Benin Auchi Road. They should force kidnappers to quit Benin Lagos and Benin Lagos Road. As it is today, our people find it difficult to access Ekpoma. They pass through Benin Agbo Road, and Benin Agbo Road is no longer safe. On Friday, a policeman was kidnapped there. 1 year, close to 1 year into Edo State, into this the second term of my amiable governor.
Just so you have raised some important issues. Yes, outside of the conversation we're discussing, which is COVID-19 vaccines, but yes, also important issues you have raised. But so there are different ways to look at this. Pardon me, just a moment. Just a moment, Mr. Edokbai. Let me land on that question. Thank you. So there are different ways to look at this. There's the medical perspective. You have raised the law, the legal perspective. I just want to be clear. Are you agreeing that indeed the ex parte order has, or the injunction has expired after September the 10th? Are you indeed saying that, yes, it has expired and then the government can go ahead, but still people have a right to say, this is what I want? Are you indeed agreeing that the ex parte order has expired?
That is what we are saying. It is my fundamental human right, whether there is an ex parte order or not. But let me decide.
Okay, I get it now. I just wanted to clear that part. So you say that you agree. But so let's talk about this from the medical perspective and even bring in law. So you say your body is your right. Indeed. I mean, they're fundamental human rights. But, I mean, you know too well that saying, let me just say that says your right stops where the right of another person starts. So if you say your body is indeed your right, and we're in a pandemic situation, as it were, and I mean, medical evidence has pointed to the potency of vaccines, saying that the benefits far outweigh the risks, which have been referenced time and again. So you do understand that, I mean, taking the vaccine from a medical perspective, I mean, reduces the risk of transmitting and, you know, even getting hospitalized, as it were. So in the light of that, don't you think your right to your body has its own limits when it now gets to your rights regarding the other person's right as well?
Thank you very much, my brother. That is why I said the government of Edo State needs to conscientize the people. Tell them the importance, the efficacy of taking this vaccine. The time my friend Aruna is using to deprive people of their fundamental human rights, their rights to movement, that time should have been used to peregrinate to the market, to educate them, to conscientize them on the need for them to take the vaccine. So that at the end of the people will now form opinion that it is mandatory for me to take vaccine. You don't even force people to take polio vaccine. When it is time, our children take polio vaccine because of the consciousness, because of the education, because of the enlightenment. That is what we are talking about.
As we wind down on this, okay, so two things. Could you tell us, are you completely against being vaccinated, or you do not want to be forced to take it and you want to take it at your own time?
Yes, I want to take it. I want to take it willingly. I should not be coerced. I'm a mature person. I should not be coerced. So even in Europe countries where the vaccine had in fact killed so many people, health workers are even protesting. In Greece, a few weeks ago, health workers protest against mandatory vaccination. That their body is their right. We should not be coerced. The government, Edo State government should enlighten the people on the need for them to take this vaccine instead of forcing the people. A lot of people are skeptical on the ground that when the COVID-19 palliative arrived at Edo State, people were not forced. Why is it that people, Edo State government is now forcing people to take this vaccine? There are a lot of negative news.
You know, Mr. Dupai, like a lot of other people, a lot of other Nigerians, it's understandable that grouse on palliatives and the sharing of palliatives. I mean, a lot of people look back at what happened and they're not happy. But, you know, that was then, and definitely a lot of restitution still needs to be made to win the trust of people back and ensure that we fight this together. And it's interesting you referenced that you're not against vaccine, you're not, you know, a skeptic when it comes to COVID-19. So let me ask you this. I mean, the government has said that people can work from home in the pending that period. And they say that, well, they're not forcing. They're only saying if you want to work on site, you need to get the vaccine so you don't, you know, spread the virus, as it were. So in terms of forcing people, has the government said the average citizen, the everyday citizen in Edo State must be vaccinated, else they will not maybe go out, they have to stay indoors? Have you ever heard that come out of government?
No, that's even though that is not the position of Edo State government. What the Edo State government said is that when you are not vaccinated, you will not access government offices, even the churches. You will not have that access to the mosque. You don't have access to the church. You will not even have access to the bank. Somebody called me a few days ago that he went to one of the new generation banks in Edo State, that it was restricted. Is that not an indirect way of forcing everybody to take the vaccine?
All right.
It is.
All right, Mr. Dupai.
Let us not...
We need to anchor at this point. Kola Edopai is an activist, and so he's trying to enforce certain rights about the vaccine mandates in Edo State.